If your marriage is on its absolute last breath and you want desperately to save it, then this video is going to be for you. Hi YouTube, it's Brad Browning here. I'm a marriage coach from Vancouver, Canada, and I've been teaching men and women how to use science and rationality to rebuild their marriages for over 10 years now. And I know it's been a long time, and throughout my coaching experience, I've learned that there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution to all marital problems. But there are foundational issues that most couples can address to rebuild a stronger, more resilient marriage, no matter how bad the situation is. So in this video, I'm going to outline 11 foundational issues that you can address right now to re-spark your marriage, even if its back is against the ropes. So let's get into it. Number one, avoid spiraling out of control by making sure you always stay focused on your own well-being. Now, usually when a marriage is backed into a corner, people begin struggling to cope with their own lives. It can begin affecting your work, your health, your sleep, or your mood. And when this happens, it can only make matters worse for you and your partner. And this can start a vicious cycle that will be difficult to end. So in order to really begin improving your marriage, you're going to have to make sure that your own life isn't spiraling out of control. Because if it is, it could produce more problems that will further exacerbate the existing issues you're facing in your marriage. Now, it's also important to remember that as much as you want to blame your partner for the problems that are plaguing your marriage, keep in mind that you are 50% of this relationship. So it only makes sense to ensure that you're doing whatever you can to be your best self possible, because it'll make future compromises, arguments, and resolutions far easier. Number two, come up with a list of issues that need to be addressed and write them down. If you don't have a plan to save your marriage, it's not going to happen on its own. So what you need to do is come up with a solid, actionable plan and make that fantasy a reality. And that starts with acknowledging and addressing the problems that are plaguing your relationship. So come up with a thorough list of all the issues that you think are present in your marriage. And once they're written down, come up with possible solutions to those problems and write those down as well. See which solutions you can begin working on today. And better yet, if your spouse wants to participate in this little exercise, well, then they're more than welcome to join in. Comparing lists is going to help you contextualize what are the problems that you can both start working on together. So do your best to be as thorough and comprehensive as possible. If you're annoyed that your spouse leaves their dirty laundry on the bed, write it down as well. And by the end of this exercise, you'll be better equipped to begin taking action to help fix the bleeding and turn your marriage around. Number three, prioritize what you want to work on in the relationship. So using the list you've just created, begin prioritizing what you need to work on first. Obviously, my dirty laundry example wouldn't be near the top. At least I hope it wouldn't be. But you'll want to address the core problems that are plaguing your relationship first. And then on your own, prioritize 3 possible solutions to each issue. So for example, say that a lack of quality time spent together is plaguing your relationship. You could come up with an actionable plan to address this, by booking a small trip together. Or you could think about a hobby that you both enjoy together. And for example, if you both like hiking, plan an overnight hiking trip that you've always talked about. And of course, the solution might not always be so simple, and it might take time to find what's going to work for you. But the alternative of doing nothing, I can assure you, is only going to make matters worse. So at least give this a shot. And number 4, make sure you remain positive. The more negative and bitter you become, the less likely your partner is going to want to talk to you and work things out in your marriage. Now, this is obvious, but it's a crucial strategy to put in place when your marriage is on the line. And the great thing about this is that it's something that you can do on your own right now. So you don't need your husband or your wife's help on this. You can start immediately right after you finish watching this video. Now, I know that this is going to be hard, especially if there's a ton of pent-up stress and tension between you and your spouse, but things aren't going to turn around by being bitter and pessimistic. Right now, you have to make a stand and force yourself to appreciate all the good things about your spouse. Once you begin positively thinking about your spouse again, your behavior and your actions are going to be easier to change as well. And hopefully, once your partner begins seeing these behavioral changes, they'll change their behavior too. Now, furthermore, you're going to want to try to avoid, any kind of emotional, angry outbursts. Again, I realize this is easier said than done, but the higher the hostility is, the more likely it is that you or your spouse will say something regrettable. And this can cause immense damage between the two of you. So for the sake of your marriage, do your absolute best to control your emotions. And if you seem like you're having problems with this, try, meditating, breathing exercises, or go for a run. Just do whatever you need to do to let off that steam so that that steam isn't let out in front of your partner. Number 5, seek advice. Now, you don't necessarily have to get marriage counseling, although that should definitely be an option as well if your spouse is open to it. But you'll want to make sure that you're addressing the problems that you're facing logically. So if your solutions are flawed, then obviously your outcomes are also going to be flawed. So do your best to find some good resources online and see if you can fine-tune your plan of action so you'll have the best chance of saving your marriage today. Now, I'm not going to lie, people who've signed up for my online personal coaching program have had incredible success in saving their marriages. Like I said, I've had over 10 years of marriage saving experience, and my team and I will be able to create a custom-made plan just for you. For more information on how you can register for my online coaching program to ensure that you're doing everything you can to save your marriage, just go to marriageguy.com/coaching. That's marriageguy.com/coaching, and you can head over there right after this video is over. Trust me, I've saved thousands of marriages, and I'm positive that I can have some impact in yours as well. Number 6, try and put more energy into the good things that are keeping your marriage together. People always tend to focus on the negative things when things are going awry in your marriage. However, by putting more time and energy into the things that are positive, you can change the complexion of the situation without too much effort. So for example, if the sex life in your marriage is great, double down on it. Have even better sex with your spouse and please them like you've never pleased anyone before. If you're good at supporting your spouse emotionally, then double down on that and make sure that your spouse knows that they're fully supported throughout this difficult time. Now, of course, when things are bad, several other areas of your marriage will inevitably suffer, even the good parts. But do your best to find that silver lining and grasp onto it. Trust me, the good parts of your marriage will be glue that pushes you two forward in a happier and healthier relationship. Number 7, listen and act when your spouse tells you something. So has your spouse, complained about something small in the past? Maybe you don't do the dishes enough. Or maybe you don't help the kids enough with their homework. Well, try and think back to a request that your partner has asked of you to do, and just do your best to swallow your pride and get to it. Make it known to your spouse that you're making an effort to do so. And honestly, just watch as your partner begins to make more of an effort as well. Again, this is one of those things that you can do on your own without your partner's help. And while this small gesture, it might not save your marriage on your own, doing a lot of small gestures does definitely add up, and I guarantee that your spouse will notice and appreciate it. Number 8, focus on having better arguments. So heated discussions and arguments are always going to rear their ugly heads in marriages. It's part of the deal when you signed up to marry your spouse. But how you conduct these disputes can make or break your marriage. So right now, you're probably arguing with your spouse a lot if your marriage is on the rocks. So if this is the case, then improving how you argue with your spouse is going to have a massive improvement in how likely you are to work things out and prevent divorce. Like I said earlier, maintaining your cool is going to be paramount to having better, healthier conversations with your partner. Yelling, screaming, and hysterics, those are obviously not going to work, and you really have to be mindful of this. Now, I know that I have a tendency of raising my voice without even realizing it, and you might be doing the same thing. So again, pay extra attention to the complexion of your arguments and how you're speaking, and I guarantee you that the temperature is going to be a lot cooler. Second, try using the word I instead of the word you. Now, I've said this in some of my other videos before, but by reframing your argument in a way that makes it seem like you're not accusing your spouse of wrongdoing, it's going to improve how your discussions are conducted. And third, try taking breaks during your argument, but only if you have your partner's consent. Leaving an argument halfway through unannounced is only going to make matters worse. So if you feel like you and your partner are at an impasse, try asking your spouse if you can just take a breather, and then promise him or her that you'll resume the argument later. Again, when emotions are high, you're more likely to do or say something that you'll regret, so just taking a break from the argument will allow both of you to cool off. Now, these are just a handful of the tactics that I outline in my patented dispute diffusing system. If you want to learn more about how you can make sure that you and your spouse have better arguments and infuse your relationship with that kind of intense connection and desire that you've lost over time, just head over to marriageguy.com and watch the free guide over there. Again, it's marriageguy.com. Head over there right after this video and watch my full tutorial. Number 9, try and think about all the flaws that you're willing to overlook in your spouse. Remember, nobody's perfect, and that's obviously true about both you and your partner. And I know you've probably made amends about the flaws in your partner long ago when you married them, but now it's time to come to accept any new minor flaws that you've discovered and accept them. Keep in mind that your partner is also accepting you for all of your flaws as well. And this is something to be absolutely grateful for. Your spouse is willing to love and accept you for all of your downfalls, and that's honestly something that not everyone can do. So thinking about these things will help you be more understanding when dealing with the things about your spouse that annoy you. Number 10, don't ever play the victim. Now, it's going to be really easy to say things like, "You always do this to me." Even if you legitimately are somewhat of a victim, this isn't the right way to treat the situation. And your spouse isn't going to respond well to you thinking it's all their fault. So instead, you'll have to approach the situation with a bit more tact. Now again, avoid using the word you here. Try saying something instead like, sometimes I feel like I'm being pressured to be someone I'm not when I'm around your friends. You see how just adjusting a few words here and there can make a huge impact on how a message is received? So anytime you feel the urge to play the victim, take a moment and try to reframe what you're about to say into something more palatable. Number 11, finally, make sure you're always learning new strategies and tactics to save your marriage. Now, marriage is a difficult full-time job that can be one of the most rewarding things in the world if done right. But if done poorly, it can be a nightmare, as you might already know. And even the best marriages in the world require time, care, and hard work. And you honestly need to constantly be working at it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I've spent over 10 years helping people revitalize their marriages. And not to brag too much, but I've become pretty good at it. In fact, I've put up a pretty good how-to guide on my website to help you learn more about how you can make your spouse fall in love with you all over again. I mentioned that URL earlier, but if you have a chance, go check it out right now. Now, the URL to that video is marriageguy.com, so head over there right now after you give this video a quick like. So that just about does it for this video here. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I will definitely try my best to get back to you. Or honestly, if you just have a suggestion for what video topic you'd like me to cover next, drop that down in the comments below as well. And thanks so much for your support, your likes, and your comments, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.